So you get a family of, what is it, of rabbits backing up, and it's called a receding hairline. On Laugh Again TV, we love to bring you eyewitness viewer reports that will undoubtedly cheer the rest of us up. And if that report is verifiable, yet outrageous and borderline unbelievable, so much the better. One bright summer morning, a dear friend of ours, Joyce Steeves, was leaving her house to help a friend prepare for a bridal shower when the unthinkable happened. I mean the unthinkable. As Joyce walked over to her car, parked in her very own driveway, well, I'll let her tell you what happened. Okay, she writes, possibly no one will believe this, but as I was leaving my house just now, a jackrabbit leaped out from in front of our garage and kicked me in the head. Honest to goodness truth, freaked me out. Freaked out? No wonder. I mean, talk about a bad hair day. Joyce grew up reading stories about tender little bunnies like Peter Cottontail and Brer Rabbit. She cheered loyally for Bugs Bunny when he faced off against the Roadrunner. She even heard cute little jokes like, what do you call a rabbit housekeeper? A dust bunny. So, imagine her surprise when little Peter Cottontail jumped out and kicked her in the head. Well, thankfully, Joyce is fine. The insane jackrabbit fled for his life after hearing Joyce scream. And a lady across the street, imagine this, she turned and looked at her as if to say, "What is your problem, girl?" Well, Joyce tried to act nonchalant, but wanted to say, "Hey, lighten up on me. I was just kicked in the head by a jackrabbit." Joyce hopped back into her house, hoping for some sympathy. Her husband Glenn and grandsons were there. She had a bump on her head and scratches on her arm. But would they believe the crazy story of how they got there? Her grandson Mason said, "Grandma, I saw a jackrabbit leap a 6-foot fence with a dog chasing it." Well, he was a believer, and since Joyce has a long history of telling the truth, her husband Glenn believed her too. Others were not so quick to take her word. Joyce told me, "I was the victim of mocking friends who said with rolled eyes, 'Sure, sweetie, of course we believe you. Are you sure it was not a kangaroo?' Tell us again, how big was that jackrabbit?" One wondered if she would cook the bunny. Another said, maybe it was a message from the Lord. You better listen. Well, the truth is, at some point for each and every one of us, there comes a time when life jumps out and kicks us in the head. You know what I'm talking about. Jesus said, "In this world you will have jackrabbits. You will have trouble. But be of good cheer. I have overcome the world." At some point, we all find ourselves shaking our heads saying, "Hey, I was just walking to my car. You shouldn't need a helmet to do that, should you?" I asked Joyce what went through her head when the judo jackrabbit jumped out, but "through her head" sounded like a very bad pun. And Joyce hates puns, especially rabbit puns. They make her want to pull her hair out. "Seriously," I said, "what separates those who threaten to sue the entire jackrabbit population from those who take to social media with such a wild and crazy true story and cheer their friends up?" "I'm not one to share my kicks in the head with the world," Joyce said. "So many others have it far worse than I ever did. But I wouldn't change any of life's knocks. They've made us lean more on God and on each other." Joyce and Glenn remember the day when their teenage daughter told them she was pregnant. The day their house caught fire. And the day their father in the early stages of dementia moved in with them. I watched as they handled each of these kicks with grace. "Stuff hits you out of nowhere," she says, "and sometimes you scream. People may even judge you, but by God's grace, you pick yourself up. You keep going. Gratitude helps. I suppose if I knew that rabbit was lurking around the corner, I may have been better prepared with a pair of boxing gloves." Then she laughs and says, "I'm just thankful it wasn't a horse." Hey, I just want to thank you because every time you push the subscribe button, something really cool happens to me. And so, would you just push it, just now? Thank you. Oh, pizza. Thank you. Excellent. Pepperoni.